What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. It is the morning after the day that we won at Anfield. I am still buzzing from that. Obviously, I spent all day working on that game because obviously we watched the game for 2 hours. Then we had the stream, which was a banger for 2 hours. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out. And then I spent the next 10 hours obviously working on the video that I posted last night. So it's been a lot of consuming the content, but I'm still buzzing because we did something that we haven't done in 10 years, and we may not do for another 10 years, because I believe even when we won in 2016, we hadn't necessarily won every single year at Anfield before that. So I'm just absolutely buzzing, guys. Let's take a look at the Premier League table, because that's our main talking point here. I see both Dart and Rishi are waiting in the backstage there, so we'll get them in as well in a second. Let me just share my screen, guys. And there we go. Boom. So we're looking at the table, and today's conversation is what does the Liverpool victory mean for Amorim in general? And does this mean we can now make a push for top four? Right. Hey Mustafa, what's good? Nice to see some people coming in to the chat here. By the way, the StreamYard link is pinned in the chat. So if you guys want to join, come have your thoughts, please feel free to do so. I've pinned it right there. And in general, I feel like the first thing that comes to my mind is that this means all of us were right. All of us were right to be patient with Amorim. All of us were looking, or those of us that were looking at the underlying numbers and some of the performances, and the fact that we've never been a team that has consistently been at the top of the league for shots, or consistently been at the top of the league for XG. And obviously, I made that video a few weeks ago that talked about how how we could finish in the top four. And a lot of people called me crazy, right? And this was before we beat Liverpool at Anfield. So, I mean, I guess I can see why you think I was being crazy, but I knew this was coming. I knew that this was coming down the line. I knew that we were showing something that we haven't seen before from Man United, right? We've seen other teams play, a good brand of football, but we've never seen United do it. And I feel like I was seeing a lot of that with Amorim this season, and it always felt like I was alone on an island. I mean, not necessarily alone. Obviously I had the likes of Dart, Rishi, and so many of you that have been regular contributors to the channel that were with me in the sense that, you also thought we were doing something special. And now we've actually done it. We beat Liverpool, and we are 2 points behind them in the table. Yes, we are on 9th, but we are still only, 3 points between us and Man City, who are sitting in 2nd. If we win next week and Man City don't, we have the same number of points as them. And, apparently Amorim deserved to get the sack after we lost to Man City 3-0. So, I did get a cool shout out from Stratford Paddock. I want to talk about this as well. Thank you, Sherpa, for bringing this up. I just want to mention, guys, this is big news, right? I mean, this is why kind of I guess this is one of the reasons that you like to create content on a platform like YouTube, because it's so cool to be recognized by some of the other channels that you've been following for a long time. Obviously, you guys know the Stratford Paddock. This is the second largest United fan channel that's out there. This is Joe Smith, Jay Motti, and Ronaldo Brown here. In today's Paddock podcast, they did a 7-minute segment on their video that basically directly discussed my the Athletic video that I posted a couple days ago now. And apparently he found it through Reddit, and we caused quite the ruckus on the Reddit, on the subreddit that's kind of partnered with by The Athletic. So I think it's very interesting that something that a 30,000 subscriber channel is doing can reach so many people, and also get a shout out from a channel as big as the Stratford Paddock, who has 823,000 subscribers. And Rishi saying he got banned by the subreddit as well. So there you go. There's some proof. But I did get a cool shout out from Stratford Paddock. I did get a comment from Statman Dave himself, the legend, which I think has 800 likes. His comment on my video has 800 likes, which is like more than some of my videos get, right? So that's just insane for me. The kind of love you guys are showing me, and the battles that are being fought out there in my name. You know, even if you go to the Athletic video and check under the comments for the JJ Bull video that I criticized, there's people quoting my stats as if they were their own, and that's just very nice to see. So thank you, Sherpa, for bringing that up, and this is definitely very cool to see. Do go check out that podcast from the Stretford Paddock and show them love from our side. But yeah, for the Premier League, right? Listen. We have played 8 games so far, and I want to get to my main talking point here again before I start bringing in some of the callers. We have played 8 games so far. We played every single one of the top 4 teams from last year, right? Let me just get more of my face over here. Yeah. We've played 8 games. We've played every single one of the top 4. Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and Chelsea. We lost to Arsenal and we lost to City. And right now, those are the 2 strongest teams at the top of the table that are probably most likely to go on and, you know, have a title race this season, because Liverpool look nowhere near it, not now at least. And we beat 2 teams that are Chelsea and Liverpool, who are arguably in the race for number 3 and number 4, right? And you could put Bournemouth in, excuse me, you could put Bournemouth in there. You could put Crystal Palace in there as well. So let's say those 4 teams are fighting for the top 4. Now, we haven't played Bournemouth or Crystal Palace yet, but we have played those other 2 teams and we beat them. So does that tell you something, that maybe we're the 7th team that's part of that top that number 3 and number 4 race? I think it does. In my opinion, we definitely have a chance. Now, obviously, we need to go beat Brighton, and at some point, the United Strand guy needs to cut his hair. So we need to go win 5 games in a row. But I think there's a chance to do it. Now, I think the main concern we have is that AFCON is on this year. And even though we don't have European football, we're going to miss Ahmad and Mbumo for 2 months, right? And that's probably going to be 8 games at the very least, if not more than 8 games. So I think the best chance we have of getting in the top 4 is us performing really well by the skin of our teeth from now till AFCON starts. And I think AFCON starts in January, if I'm not wrong. So which means we have basically till the end of the year to do really well. And now we have a really good run of games. Who are we playing next? Let's see. Let's go to Manchester United. Fixtures. We're playing Brighton, Forest, Tottenham, Everton, Palace, West Ham, and Wolves. These are our games till the second week of December. And I think Palace is a difficult game for sure. Tottenham's, can be a difficult game as well because it's away. And then Everton might give us a game, but we should be beating West Ham. We should be beating Wolves. We should be beating Forest. And hopefully we can beat Brighton at home as well. So that's 4 wins right there, and maybe a draw and a loss somewhere else. That puts us in a really good position, and maybe in a position that we're already in the top 4 before we leave for AFCON. And then when we come back from AFCON, we have a good rest of the season to finish in the top 4. So I actually think that result means so much in so many different ways. We obviously won at Anfield that we haven't done, in so many years. We actually, Papi Pique says, "How are you feeling?" I saw you got shout outs from Strapman Dave Stratford Paddock. All I can say is congrats, and you absolutely deserve it. Thank you so much, brother. I mean, you guys have shown me the love, man. Honestly, this is a shout out for all of us. This is the community. Because if I don't get the positive reinforcement that I do from you guys every single stream, every single video, then I am not encouraged to make the content that I'm making. I don't make that athletic video that's given me the accolades or the applause from other creators. So it's really an achievement for this whole channel, and Papi Pique, that means a lot. Wilcox and Co will have a plan for AFCON. Yeah, I mean, knowing them, they probably get more African players in the winter window, knowing how they've been doing so far. But anyways, thank you, Outer Signal. I appreciate it. Let's get our first caller into the show. And we have Mr. Street Magician himself, Dart, on the channel. How you doing, Dart? First time seeing a face to a name. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm living the Hugh Hefner lifestyle here, as you can see, after we beat Liverpool at Anfield.
Yeah, let's
And
go.
what a great win. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what
Is that
keeping.
did you get Twerkes to did you pay Twerkes some money to come to your house? Is that why you're dressed like that?
I mean, it was such a relief to get that early goal
Yeah.
and to get the pressure sort of removed. But of course, you're like also 88 minutes away from winning. So you're like, oh, it's going to be a long, sort of bumpy, And I thought really in the first half we played exceptionally well. Even Jamie Carragher said, but we looked dangerous going forward, almost at every time we got the ball and started to go forward.
Yeah.
I think this could be a turning point in terms of because I don't think, as we've talked about many times, I don't think Amorim's the problem at all. It's the players and their belief and their how they rely on the systems that have been put in place, how they train, how they give effort in the games, obviously. And I think that that's where this change, because it's Anfield and because it's such a big game and there's so much pressure around like not winning there for like a decade and all that kind of stuff, the players really came to play, much like in that Lyon game that we came back from the death last year and stuff. It's like they've never had real troubles under Amorim on some of these bigger games. We've ended up with draws. We've ended up with beating Arsenal on penalties in the FA Cup and stuff. But it's like mostly the games where we try to dominate that we have our biggest problems
Yeah.
because we seem to the midfield gets separated from the defense, and the defense doesn't want to step up like some of the things you pointed out in your video where De Ligt crushed Kirkes from behind,
Yeah.
coming across the half. And those things, I think, they're just take time, and like maybe that's something that they're now with some belief. They're like like De Ligt had to like sprint at full speed to get to Kirkes there, and he did, and it caused them to turn the ball over. So I think
Yeah.
just more of that, and maybe that's why Lenny Euro wasn't really in the side. I think maybe he's because of his, he's young, he has the legs and everything, but maybe he doesn't have that forcefulness of like De Ligt. And so in that game, you needed people like that. And if they were going to play more conservatively, let's say, where they were going to drop into more of a defensive shape, compact defensive shape, then Maguire was a good. When I saw the lineup, I was like, uh-oh, because I thought we were going
Same
to.
here. Let's just talk about the lineup too. Because listen, man, I made the video yesterday. I had a 2 hour stream. I still feel like I have 6 other videos in the bank from the number of notes I took from that game. Because we could talk about, I
Mm-hmm,
could do a whole video on Ahmad, on Cunha, on Maguire,
mm-hmm.
on Lawmans,
Oh, Cunha.
on Casemiro that people aren't even talking about, right? There's probably
Yeah.
some stuff from Mount there. Obviously, Bruno did really well, and also misplaced some passes. So there's some things there. There's so much to talk about, but honestly, when I saw the starting 11, I don't know if you were there for I don't know if you've seen the podcast I did with Rishi, but he is officially my brother. He's always been my brother, but I came
Yes.
out
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
with the announcement that he's my brother. But yeah, so I was talking to him before the game, and I was like, "Oh, Sheshko is not starting, and we also don't have Euro in the defense. So is Amorim making it harder for even the believers to believe in him?
Right.
Because I in my preview video I had Sheshko in the 9, right? I didn't call this
Mm-hmm.
false 9 stuff, and being really honest with you, watching the game back now as well, because Cunha was never tight with Van Dijk and Konate, they didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what to do. They were
Yep.
like, you've ever been outside and not realized your phone is not in your pocket, and you're like,
Right.
you just
Where
feel
is
like,
it?
what am I doing? Yeah, exactly. Where's my phone? Like, am I lost? Like, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's almost like you can't breathe because you don't have your phone. And I
It's
feel
a
like
complete breakdown. Yeah.
yeah, and they didn't have a striker next to them like Sheshko would have been. So
Right.
they didn't know where to position themselves, and you constantly had Mbumo and Cunha running circles around Van Dijk, and that
Mm-hmm.
was causing big troubles for them. So yeah, it was great to see, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't seen somebody, having watched United through all these years. I don't remember a performance really. Like there were a lot of performances where like Ronaldo danced through a half dozen people on his way to doing something spectacular, or Messi or somebody like this. But Cunha, whose outright foot speed and stuff is not like the absolute zenith of
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
Premier League, the amount of like contact he absorbs while still retaining the ball
How
and
he
carrying it
didn't
up the
get a
field.
foul, how he didn't get a foul like 3 times within the same play.
Yeah,
There were two players just holding him down. He
yeah,
falls down as well, loses his balance, gets back up, and he's like, "Let's go again."
that
And
was
that
insane.
was just insane. Yeah, and the way he turned Frimpong on the right wing towards the
Oh,
end of the game, I was like, that's some Brazilian magic right there. And that's what I like about
totally.
Cunha, because it's not about, like you said, it's not about like elasticos and reverse elasticos and like
Right.
Ronaldo chops and, Berbatov spins and all that. He's not doing those
Yeah,
things. He just runs, right? And
yeah,
he reminds me a little bit of Musa Dembele. I don't know if you remember
yeah,
that player from
yeah.
Tottenham, who
Tottenham.
used to
Yeah.
run from midfield all the way to the other side, and he could just shove people off. He had the strength to keep them off.
It's funny you mention that because I saw what was I watching? There was some manager. Oh, that's what it was. It was somebody, the one of the managers who's now a pundit on one of the British stations. He was the manager of Aston Villa back when Grealish was there. He interviewed
Okay.
Grealish just the other day here, and he talked about how only Grealish at Aston Villa and Dembele
Yeah,
when he had
must
him.
be Tim Sherwood. Yeah, must be Tim
Yeah, that's who
Sherwood.
it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And only them. The only other player where he thought like the way he phrased it was, if the ball went to that person, he could sit down and relax. It was
Yeah.
Grealish and Musa Dembele. And I agreed. I always wanted Dembele to be a United player. I was like, that guy controls the ball so easily. It's like nobody can take it
Yeah.
off him. And it's like,
Oh, I used to love watching him, dude, because he was just so strong and silky on the ball and very
yeah,
left-footed player. So it's
yeah.
another rarity added onto that. And what I find really interesting, and I don't know how people are going to take this right now because I know it's time for positivity, but I find it very interesting that Kobe Mainu, right? One of his big strengths is carrying the
Mm-hmm,
ball and progressing the ball. And looks like Amorim, by using Cunha in that system as a false nine, is getting what you get from Kobe Mainu without
mm-hmm,
sacrificing what you get from Bruno Fernandes.
mm-hmm. I agree. I think it's, yeah, I think it's really telling that because, watching when Amarin was first touted as the almost immediate replacement for Ten Hag, I watched a lot of sporting videos and like some of their games and like of course that Manchester City game when he left and stuff and all that.
Oh yeah, I was watching that too.
Yeah, and it was wild to me, like because the knock so far on what's happened at United, which is a whole host of reasons we've talked about in the past, was that it's hard to control the ball. It's hard to have possession. They don't seem to be on the front foot. Like I heard Jamie Carragher after the game said like he still distrusts the system because it doesn't seem like he puts the players on the front foot to where they can attack. And I was like, that's the complete opposite perspective I had watching Sporting, because of course Sporting's playing against the same level of competition, in their own league. So it's not completely, you shouldn't completely dismiss it. But in that league, they were ping ponging the ball around like it was an arcade. And they'd score these goals much like Bruno should have had yesterday. That was the exact type of goal they would score in that Sporting Lisbon team, is that late charge where the wing back has like cut its way into the box and then squares it for some oncoming Paul Scholes like late runner,
Yeah, yeah,
which would
yeah,
be
yeah.
Bruno, and they just would smash those balls in like crazy. And pound team is 5-6-0 or 6-2 or whatever it was. So it
Yeah,
was
they
like,
scored so many goals, and also like what? So the reason I'm excited, right? And
mm-hmm,
this was the example of us playing against a better team, right?
mm-hmm,
And us winning at Anfield and us giving some real positivity. By the way, also winning 2 games in a row, which everybody's been crying about, right? So all of that stuff is good, but the part we still haven't seen to really shut the haters down is have
mm-hmm.
65% possession and beat a team like not even Brighton, because Brighton's a really good team that keeps possession, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But beat a team that wants to give us the ball, right? So we have
yeah,
65% possession and we beat them like 4-5-0, because
yeah,
then you'll have both sides of the argument covered. Like
mm-hmm,
nobody gave us a chance going at Anfield to beat them. In fact, Slot was so overconfident and cocky that he told both Gakpo and Salah to not track back. So the
yeah.
whole game, you had Kirkez and Bradley playing 2v1 with
They were getting
Mbumo and
killed. Yeah,
Ahmad on one side, and then you had Dallo and Mount on the other side, that were just killing the fullbacks. And this
yeah,
guy, this poor kid, he's 21 years old. He's been brought from Bournemouth. He's been getting so much stick, And not one person wants to acknowledge that it's Slot's fault, not that poor kid's fault.
Yeah, when I saw, because I've watched a few Liverpool, they're on TV constantly now. Of course, they're the champions. But I've watched a few of the Liverpool games recently. Sort of on, they have it on in the background, while, after we play or whatever. And I've been watching Connor Bradley, who I think has a lot of talent, but he's been getting murdered, like in most of the games. I feel like he's way off it, and for whatever reason, because I don't think he was even that off it last year when he would come in for Alexander and stuff. But like he's doing some very juvenile mistakes where he's jumping on people that he should give space to, and he's almost like doing the opposite of some of the things you should do, and people are going by him. Like he's not even there. Like I think Grealish was just like toying with him for a lot of the Liverpool game, and it was so when I saw him out there, and it wasn't going to be Szoboszlai, who's I think smarter and of course more of a veteran and maybe not as good defensively overall, but like just wiser. I thought, this will be good because those, regardless of who they put out there, and I wished it was sort of Dorgu instead of Dalot from the get go. But I thought like the way people interchange up front too, like he's going to be under constant pressure, and Kirk has yet to settle. So I thought he'd be on, Ahmad would be all over that guy like one on race, which was basically what was happening.
and Ahmad and Mbumo. So this is what I find funny, right? On the one side, you have Slot saying, "Don't have Gakpo tracking back to help Kirkes." On the other side, you have Amorim saying, "Not only are we going to have both Ahmad and Mbumo attack, they're also both going to defend." Right. Yep. So De Ligt had help from both of those guys coming in, and I can't think of one luxury player in our team yesterday, because usually it's Cunha when he plays in that left end, because you think maybe he doesn't do the defensive work that he needs to, but even he was dropping really deep, driving the ball forwards. He was doing the work that he was asked to do. He's also playing as the starting 9 for Brazil, by the way, in the team that Casemiro captains. So he's doing the same job for us, and he's doing whatever he needs. So we have such honest, hardworking players. Even Šeško, when he plays, there's no complaining. There's no peep from him. You look at Euro, guys, he was touted as the best French center back to come out of that country for many, many years. They were calling him the next Rafael Varane, and he chose to come to us instead of going to Madrid. He has been getting benched in games left and right. Do you hear him saying anything? There's not a peep from that guy.
In fact, it's the reverse of that, I'd go so far to say, because he's appeared in a number of United videos where they're telling each other jokes and stuff with the younger Tyler Fredrickson or whatever. So it's the opposite.
His goal is to put his head down and get better, right? When he doesn't play in games, he's looking at it and he's saying, okay, Maguire isn't the greatest center back in the world. We've all been there, made fun of him and called him slabhead and all that. But he still is England international center back who's played, in the Euros final and all that. He still played a lot of games for United. He's still been the captain. He has 10 years of Premier League experience, or maybe slightly less than that.
Bunch of game-winning goals.
A bunch of game-winning goals as well. So I need to respect that, and I need to look at myself and say, where can I get better? So when you're looking at Euro versus Maguire, you would and compare that to Mainu versus Bruno.
Right.
It's almost a laughable comparison, because Euro is much closer to Maguire than Mainu is to Bruno.
It's going to be a controversial. Yeah, it's controversial to say this, and I don't know if I've ever voiced this maybe on your channel or whatever. And I've had a lot of discussion with some friends that whose families are from Manchester that I happen to know and stuff. And I'm not a massive Kobe Mainu fan, and I have not.
All right, time to kick you out of the stream. I'm just kidding.
I don't want to be bring any negativity to it, but I don't think he's going to be able to provide us what we need in any way if this is going to be the long-term project they're going to stick with. Had Amorim got fired quickly like Postecoglou or something, then maybe you hang around, keep him on to because you're going to change again and you're going to come up with some new system by which everything runs. But under this system, I don't think he has the athleticism. And I don't think he just has the range of abilities that are required for somebody who's going to play in one of those.
He doesn't have the progressive passing. And if you want to bring him in, even without the progressive passing, you could say, okay, he does the progressive carries, right? Like he can do the dribbling like Cunha does. But the problem is he has the same defensive mistakes that Bruno does. So you're really equal on that. If you're saying
Yeah,
passing is better than the carrying, or sorry, carrying and passing evens it out, that's also fine. The problem
and he
is he
doesn't
still
have
doesn't
the
have the switch of play. He still can't switch the ball, right? Which is
he
what
doesn't
this
have the
system needs a lot of.
physicality. He doesn't have the
Doesn't have the
physicality
physicality
of a
either. Yeah.
Cunha or someone either, right? Because Cunha, like we said earlier, he's not as fast as Mbuemo. He's not as fast, maybe even as Ahmad, but he's the physicality of holding people at bay while he's running, and they can't take the
It's
ball. Two people
crazy.
can't
Like
take the
you
ball off
look
him.
at him, and he doesn't look like he's strong, but
Right.
the way he looks like he's got legs of a gazelle, he's got like those long
Yeah.
legs, and like no matter whoever's coming at him, like down low, he seems to ride above all the
And he
challenges,
can
and it's
turn.
his willingness as well. Yeah, it's insane. It's
He can
insane.
turn at
Anyways,
pace
Dart,
too.
give us your man of the match, and I'll bring Rishi in for a discussion.
For me, there was a lot of people I could have selected. So I think it was this particular effort. When I don't hear a lot of people's names, it's usually because they're making mistakes when people start to stand out in this United last 12 years. But like, obviously, De Ligt had a massively good game. Maguire, obviously, who popped up at the end, but otherwise was quiet. Like he had 10 clearance, all the things you listed in your video, 10 clearances and duels won in the air and all this kind of stuff. But for me, Cunha was the player of the game because although he didn't have a goal or an assist, he managed the game in a way where we needed some relief,
In
and he was
crucial
able
moments towards the end of
over
that
and
game.
over again. Yeah,
I saw an Instagram video that the club posted where they asked all the players, like, how you're feeling after the big game, right? Because they were in training again, or at the club again, and
yeah,
they asked Bruno the question for who the man of the match was, and like a true captain, what did he say? He said, "There's so many players to call from." He even gave a shout out to Yoro, who came on in the last
yeah.
like 5 minutes
Big
to
clearance.
defend for us, right? And made some big clearances. And then he basically said that, Euro deserves credit, Cunha deserves credit, Maguire obviously scored the goal. So we had so many players that gave crucial contributions to the team. Even De Ligt had a big De Ligt and Luke Shaw made some big clearances in the first half as well.
Yeah, Luke Shaw, another great example. Like you didn't hear,
Yeah.
I don't think I heard his name more than once or twice during the actual telecast, but like that's a good thing because he's just doing his job and then he's breaking up the Liverpool plays, and that's what you should do. I don't
He
want to hear
seems to
about the
have good
defenders.
games against. He seems to have good games against Salah, but then the evidence still tells you we lost 7-0
Yeah,
when Sean Maguire played, and that's why I was worried in the
right.
first place.
Yeah,
But
me too.
anyways, Dart, if you want to stick around, I'll pull you back in for sure.
I might do that. I might have to run. I'm not sure, but yeah, great.
Cool,
United.
sounds good. Nice
We're
to see
doing it.
Hugh Hefner in the flesh.
Later, brother.
Later. All right, that was Dart for the first time showing his face. It's a real person, guys. It's not just a figment of my imagination. So nice to see to Dart on the channel. A real OG, by the way, because since we started the Discord, call-in shows and all that, he's always been a willing caller and always been on the stream trying to have conversations with us. Looks like we have 40 people live watching. Guys, please smash a like on the video. And also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But please join this backstage so that I can actually pull you in for a conversation. I'm seeing some of the regulars here. I want to see some new faces as well. Rishi, what's up, my brother?
Still buzzing from the win yesterday. What a beautiful thing football is. Am I right?
Your mic is a little bit low. Maybe I don't know
Can
if you
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay, sorry, this is a new pair of headphones, so yeah, might need a little bit of manual handling. Is it fine now?
Actually, maybe you can just leave it down, and I'll turn up the volume on my side, because that's also irritating if we're talking for 5-10 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, first off, I want to apologize to the listeners if you're hearing some bangs on my end. It's the Indian festival of Diwali, and people are bursting crackers outside. It's going to go on all night, so not much I can do. Hopefully, it's manageable.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't even realize it till you mentioned it.
Oh, awesome. So, I mean, yeah, there's so much to talk about, man. Just absolutely buzzing. Congratulations on the shout out from Stretford Paddock. Probably the OGs of United football content creation on YouTube. And yeah, just the kind of impact that the video is having, it's resonating with so many people. So yeah, Really glad that it's spoken to a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm very. First of all, when I saw the Statman Dave comment on my video, it was like 10 minutes old at that point, and I needed to double check my eyes because you're talking about OGs in terms of United content. Statman Dave is the OG of like the stats based content on YouTube, right? Like you could argue that he would be in the inspiration category of like me trying to create content more like him than anybody else, right? Because one of the reasons I wanted to start the channel is that so many channels were out there that were just giving their feelings and opinions instead of grounding it in stats. And Statman Dave was the one person who is grounding it in stats, and I got a comment from him. And then today, I think United Matters, Oven, who's the German fan who was with us yesterday after the Liverpool game, he commented on my post saying that Stretford Paddock just gave you a shout out. So I guess he was watching their podcast live. And then me and you both went and checked it out. And to our surprise, there's a 7-minute segment on that video that's just talking about the Athletic video, and he shouts me out. And he's also linked the video to his to the description of that video. So it just feels amazing, man. It feels amazing to get recognized, but it just means the work isn't done yet. All the other United haters better watch out, better get some life insurance policies because I am coming for you. And more importantly, just to add value to the United fans, right? Because what we need to realize is that it's not just a video that The Athletic has made, or it's not just a video that JJ Bull has made. It got 350,000 views. And a lot of United fans are watching that video and having a positive or negative impact on their own like mental health, right? After listening to something like that. So it's very important. But we're going to cover this in more detail on our podcast tomorrow, Rishi. So let's save it for that.
Yeah. So just to address the topic of today's live, is this a turning point for Ruben Amorim? I remember you had asked this question. Was it after Sunderland? The same question was posed. Is this finally a turning point? And I said that that game also could have gone either way because Lomans gets sent off. Uh, we're playing a goalie down and it's behind there in goal, and it's touch and go. Uh, and then I also said that we need to keep building on this, like get a draw or at least some sort of a result at Anfield. And we got the best of all results possible, right? So I think a turning point is like something very binary, right? Oh yeah, something like you can identify a single point in space. That was the result that changed it, or this is the moment where it changed. But United is often compared to like this massive cruise liner that needs to be turned in the rough seas, right? And something that's as big and requires as big of a rebuild job, it happens slowly. So more than a point, I think it's like a curve, and we are firmly in the middle of this curve because we've started getting the result that we should get, beating a promoted team at home. Then we've got the result that we weren't expected to get, which is beating the champions at their home. Now we've got Brighton coming up, and they're a bogey team if I ever saw one, right? We'll be playing at home. We'll be playing against a team that kills you on the counter when they're playing away, and that's been their game plan. They played against Wolves, I think, and they also played against Chelsea a few weeks back. They played against Newcastle. All these games, their plan was simple: just give up possession and then hit them on the counter.
Wait, is that how Brighton have been playing this season?
Yeah. Go check out their possession stats. I think
Very
against
cool.
Chelsea they had 34% possession and they smashed them 3-1. Two goals came in the dying moments of the game in stoppage
They
time.
also beat City, right?
I do not remember that.
Or was it Palace that beat City?
Palace, I don't remember those exact results, but go check out Brighton's past few fixtures. You will
Yeah,
see that,
I'm just checking. I'm just
and the
checking
games
right
they're
now.
expected to win, right? Like a game against Wolves, I think they drew 1-1 against Wolves.
Yeah,
So
see, they
that
beat
game they had.
they did beat City. They beat City 2-1.
Yeah, so you see, like any team that goes and attacks them, they have a simple game plan, and that's what they've done in all those matches they've won against us. They've always conceded possession, and that's their game plan away from home. The players are very good at executing it. There's a group of people that has been together for a long time. so they know how to execute the game plan. And Herzler hasn't, made any major changes from
Yeah, and
what the
also
previous guy was
the,
doing.
Jan Kuba Minte has been really good for them this season.
Yeah,
He's the player that Newcastle was kind of forced to sell because of PSR to Brighton, and they've done really well. And you're right, they've had less than 50% possession in all the big teams they played against for sure. They
yeah,
lost 2-1 to Bournemouth, and that was the one game where they almost had 50-50 possession.
right.
But I
So now
imagine
the
that
question
had to do
is,
with chasing the
when
game.
when we're playing at Old Trafford, and I think the easy way to beat them is give up the ball to them because they don't know really what to do with it. Right?
Yeah.
They really pounce on you when you're in transition. Their transition game
Mhm.
is brilliant, right? Even if you get enough bodies back, but if they got to play from transition, they'll put a nice, accurate ball into the box, and Welbeck is a fox, so he'll just find a way to head the ball into goal. And Welbeck always seems to get a goal against us. Minte always puts in a brilliant performance, and
The
all
the
those
concern
regular,
the
dependable
concern
ones.
I have, Rishi, is more of let's say a philosophical one, because I want to see Amorim going and having more than 60% possession and beating a team, right?
Yeah,
And it'll mean even more if we beat Brighton like that, who have taken down some big teams this season, and they've done it by specifically keeping low possession, right? So
yeah.
for all the reasons that you said, I want to basically go beat them. You know how I appreciate Mark Goldbridge for this, because he says, if we could play Liverpool every week, I would appreciate that more than playing all the other teams, because these are the games you get up for. These are the games you look forward to. These are the games that tell you what you're made of, right? All the other games you could win or lose because it's the Premier League and you have good players, you have bad players some days. So for me, a team like Brighton, who's been a bogey team for us, right, who have in previous seasons beat us with 60% possession, and this season looks like they want to beat us with 30% possession. Can we go figure them out? Can we go figure out the mid block and beat them? Right, that's what I want to see. And the next team I want to say is Crystal Palace, who we're also playing like fairly soon. I want to see us beat them as well, because Glasner's been getting so much love for his mid block system. He has the highest XG created in the league right now, which again, super impressive, right? There's nothing to be taken away from him. But my point is, regardless of how they're playing, if we go to Old Trafford and we just give up possession, I could look at it one way and say that maybe he's just trying to get the confidence back in the team. So he's saying, okay, we just beat Liverpool. Let's go with the same sort of mentality of, playing with the mid block and trying to score a lot of goals, because we need the forwards to also start getting some confidence, right? And this is, by the way, what I've been saying from the beginning, which is like, if we need to go away from the system by 5% to get 5% more confidence in the team, I'm okay with that, right? But if that's the trade-off we're making, we're not really sending the message that we want to send, is kind of my point.
I think more than anything, and I was the one who said that the moment you let these players relax a bit, they're going to
Yeah.
turn on him, and we're going to have to play
But that
defensive.
wasn't relaxing, right? Like the 4-4-2 that we played with Mount in the team against Sunderland. That wasn't us relaxing. That was us just being like working harder on defense than we
Yeah,
are on the offense, right? So that wasn't us
yeah.
relaxing. Or us relaxing would be giving up all possession, not really defending well, so still conceding cheap goals, but then just focusing on the counterattack. And
So
I
I'll
don't think
tell
we
you
did
what
that
I
against
think.
Liverpool
I
either.
think one of the trademarks, irrespective of the opposition we've played, is we get off to a fast start,
Yeah.
and the team derives a lot of confidence from getting that early goal, and it showed yesterday. In fact, I felt getting it in the second minute after 62 seconds might have been a little too soon, because then you're a little nervous and edgy, right? You're thinking, when is the counter attack coming, or when are they going to answer the goal with another goal of their own?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, every team we played against, even against Sunderland, once we scored that second goal, we kind of eased off, right? Because even the possession numbers changed significantly. We ended the game, I think, 55%, 45 to Sunderland. And for the way we dominated that first half, I think we kind of relaxed in the second half. We let them have the ball, and they didn't have much of an attacking plan, so we were kind of okay there.
You're talking about Sunderland,
Also,
right?
about Sunderland, and even against Liverpool, we were basically defending the entire second half, and we had a game plan for that, right? even on the fast transitions when they were 7v4. We did a good job of closing them off. Of course, Liverpool were also ass, so let's give them credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Uh, but Brighton, for me, the worry is that they're a very clinical team, and they give you exactly what you see. Right? There is no hidden trick. There is no lucky aspect to their game. You look at their XG, they're expected to score 12 goals. They've scored exactly 12 goals. They're expected to give up 11 goals. They've given up exactly 11 goals. That team is exactly what you see, and we've seen it everywhere. I'm telling you, if they get an early goal, right, against us, their possession number is going to drop to 30%, maybe even lesser.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Even against,
I believe it,
yeah,
Rishi. I believe it. But my point is, when we were watching that game against Liverpool yesterday, right? We went 1-0 up. I didn't even catch the game because I was talking to you obviously on WhatsApp. I think you messaged me, and then I turned it on because I was creating the thumbnail for the live stream later. And then I watched the highlights to the first goal. And we looked really comfortable for like the next 76 minutes till Liverpool scored. And when
yeah,
Liverpool did score is when I got worried because I was like, oh, now the heads are going to drop. Now
yeah,
the home pressure is going to come in, and
right,
all this mountain of evidence of positivity that I've seen is now going
yeah,
to go to waste because we're going to revert back to the mean. And if we don't now go win this game or get a draw from this game, it almost doesn't mean anything because again we're going to be back to square one where I'm going to be
right,
sitting there saying, oh guys, there were so many positives, but they're like, oh yeah, but we lost the game, right?
yeah,
Because everybody likes to use that stick to beat the Amorim inners with.
yeah,
So I just feel like what I want to see is us coming back from a goal down, us playing against 30% possession, and us beating Brighton 3-1 or 4-1. Because that would just give me the complete performance of like, you know what now, right? We showed the resilience to come back from a goal down, and we maintained 60% possession or more for the rest of the game. And we created so many chances that we overwhelmed them, and this was the most complete performance I've ever seen. That's what I want to see. I don't know if that's going to come
yeah,
against Brighton, could come against Crystal
right.
Palace, could come against Nottingham Forest, could come against Tottenham, because I think all of these teams are going to give us the ball.
So
Even
Andy, I
Tottenham.
think with respect to the turning point, I think one of the important turning points which I personally saw yesterday was the fact that we conceded a goal in the 78th minute, and we didn't play out a draw, and we didn't let our shoulders drop and concede another goal. We actually went for the win, and we got the win, and we did that at one of the most hostile atmospheres, right? So, and I watched the almost the entire game, and whenever they had a good shot or a good play, the crowd was in it, man. They were in it. They were roaring. They were going crazy. They were getting behind the team, and we still managed to hold our own. So I feel that for me, right, that is the important point, because the game state can be anything, everything that you enumerated, right? Like going a goal down or playing against a low block team or whatever it is. Uh, Anything could come up, but you need to have that mentality and that drive to keep going.
Yeah.
So that for me was a very important insight. The way we reacted to conceding that equalizer was just superb. But again, we've had these results, and then just the immediate next game we've gone fallen flat, right?
Yeah,
I'm a
I'm
little
not.
bit more hopeful.
I'm not one
I'm a
to
little,
give
yeah,
Gary Neville a lot of credit, and this is the last thing I'll say, Rishi, because we have Uday waiting for a while as well. We'll bring him in next. Um, the one thing I like Gary Neville say is that I think it's time for the players to step up to the plate and allow Amorim to trust in them, right? Because if you're sitting there problem solving every day, right? Like think about like maybe you guys have or maybe you haven't been in a toxic relationship before, right? Where every day you feel like you have to prove yourself and you have to do something to show your love or show your worth and that you belong in that relationship or whatever. And I feel like Amorim is in that position now where it's not enough that we beat Liverpool. Now we need to go and do something special against Brighton and do something special, right? So he's always problem solving. Whereas, can he just put out the same players and say, listen, we've been doing this week in, week out. Just go do your job, go win the game. And Rajat, you don't have to have your camera on. You can just come on without your camera. You can just speak. There's no pressure to put the camera on at all. Anybody else that's watching as well, if you feel like you need to put the camera on, you don't. And Uday is next, by the way, but I think he has left the studio, so I guess I'll just talk to Rishi till he's back. And anyone else wants to join, by the way, you will literally be next right away. So please join the link that's pinned in the description. Otherwise, we have to listen to the fireworks in the background with Rishi.
Oh, you can hear it now.
For another, yeah. Now I can. There are some loud ones in between that I can hear.
Yeah. Well, I guess fireworks are just continuing, right? We lit up Anfield yesterday, and
Yep.
it just the fireworks continuing today. And just Andy, the way this turning point is very fascinating to me because uh, in any kind of turnaround story, right, in any field, there are those little moments that you construct together. And I feel that yesterday I saw this bunch of players that were more uh, comfortable playing with each other, right? They could read
Yeah.
the movements, the movements were happening. They knew where the teammate was gonna be. There was that extra effort, and how like these people know that Anfield has history. We've been pummeled there. They've scored 18 goals in the last 5 or 6 games, and we've scored like two, right,
But
at
by the way,
Anfield.
Rishi, we have Uday and Lanre joining, so we'll save some of this for the podcast tomorrow, and I'll also bring you in if you're sticking around for a bit more. I'll bring you in a bit later. But Uday's
Yeah,
here,
all
so
right.
let's bring him in.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Rishi. Let's bring in Uday. Uday, how you doing, my friend?
Hi, Andy. Good to see you back again.
I feel like you're stuck in yesterday still. Was that the same jersey you had on?
Yeah, no, I was wearing it yesterday. This is a Man
Yeah,
United jersey, something that
yeah.
I was gifted by a friend in Singapore.
Nice.
But
Where are
yeah,
you calling in from, by the way? I don't think I asked you that.
no, I missed it yesterday. Yeah, so I'm calling in from Hyderabad, India.
Nice, nice. Very,
Right.
very nice to meet you. I've never been to Hyderabad myself. I think my brother has, maybe. He can say that in the comments, but I've never been there. I'd love to go. I have some friends from Hyderabad here in Canada as well. But yeah, I would
Oh,
I would love
we'd
to
love
visit
to have
someday.
you here. And
Yeah.
we have a little group of Man United supporters who kind of get together. And I've been told actually that there's a proper club in Hyderabad of Manchester United and a huge fan base and
The
something
supporters
that's
trust,
actually,
probably. Yeah, supporters trust. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And
maybe.
that's something that's actually officially recognized by the club as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm looking forward to those gatherings and get togethers. But Andy, so what are we talking about today? Is this the turning point, right? That's the
Yeah. Is
question.
this a turning point? Can we get into top four?
Yeah. So Andy, I think once the euphoria of last night, I'm still buzzing, to be honest with you. But I've had some time to reflect, and even yesterday while watching the match, right, I had a couple of things that kind of I wanted to touch upon, which is that uh, you know most of the balls that Sene Lamens was playing was out to the forwards, right?
Mhm.
In yesterday's match, if you see, most of them had gone to either to a case or that's so funny, by the way. Every time you mention it, I told my sister, and she can't stop laughing as well.
Yeah.
Either Turkish took it or Kunate, right? And there was no Benji. So obviously, I think, Mbumo was having
Yeah,
a
we
tough time with that.
the game plan was to lose the first duel but win the second one. And we
I
did
get
that
that.
over and over again, right? And is that what you were trying to say as well? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yes, I get that. What for me, Andy, is concerning is I get the part that, I look, to be honest, I don't listen to a lot of Liverpool fans, etc. So I don't know what they're saying. I'm guessing that they're saying, oh, man, you got lucky, we hit the post thrice. But look, like you rightly pointed out in your video today, and we did that too. Dorgo did that against, I think, Fulham or Arsenal.
It
And
was
then
against Arsenal
Brooks.
with Dorgu, and then Cunha did it against Fulham.
Correct. And in yesterday's match too, Bruno hit the woodwork, right? So like Amorim said, ifs and buts. I keep going back to that, right? If Binder had held on to that first ball from Declan Rice in the first opening match of the league, right? We That would have been a draw, and we would have got 1 point from there. And then the match against Fulham, Bruno missing the penalty in the match against Brentford, again, had he taken that penalty, probably we would have drawn that game. To be honest, we didn't play well against Brentford and City, right? Let's call a
Yeah.
spade a spade.
Yeah.
City,
Those two games we deserve to lose,
right?
and Amorim isn't without blame, right? Those two games he deserves to hold the L because yes, we made individual mistakes in the City game, but we also never looked like we were going to win that game, right? So at best, we would have had a 0-0, right? That's just the truth.
The moot point being, if you were to, talk about hypothetical scenarios, had we got that 1 point draw against Arsenal and then win against Fulham and probably a draw with Brighton, we would now be sitting at what, 15 points before
17.
yesterday's win.
It
Yeah,
would have been It would have been 17 points, including this win, because you said 2 more draws and 1 more win, right? And one
two
of those
draws and
wins,
one
the
win.
conversions, yeah, but that's from a draw that we already
No, so
got.
that would be 12. And so 15 points.
No, because so if you said win against Fulham, draw against Arsenal,
Oh, win against
and
Fulham.
draw,
Correct. Yes.
yeah, and draw against
My bad.
Brentford, right? So that would be 4
Yeah.
more points than we have now. So we would be ahead of City in second place if we had all of
Correct.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the Fulham game we should have definitely won. Yes, we weren't our best, but look, that can happen to the best of players, right? So I won't really hold Bruno to that. What really concerns me, and he's a fabulous guy. We've seen what he's done for us. For me, what I'm more concerned is sometimes when he misses the ball. Yesterday, Dorgu played him in. There was a lovely little ball that he played him in. Of course, Bruno didn't go for it. Sometimes I find that he has this, he turns back, tells, I want the ball here or this and that. Instead of focusing, the ball is already, the player has
Mm.
moved on, right? So that's one thing that I'm concerned about, because I think the goal, the free kick against, was it Arsenal or Fulham? That was actually a ball that Bruno had missed, and right, that led to the goal. So that's one point that I think he needs to kind of tighten
Well,
up
so
in his
it's
overall game.
yeah, so you're saying basically like when he's gesturing, like throwing his hands up in the air, it doesn't really
It's
help. He
not the
should focus on the
gesturing
game.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, football is a fast-paced game, right? And invariably in the last season, we are always trying to play catch up, and that's why you see Ruben always saying it's so important that we start well. We start
Yeah.
with that spirit. That's what he kept saying in the post-match interviews as well. Anyway, moving on. That's point number one. My other point from what I took away from yesterday's match was, uh, I noticed we didn't have a lot of possession, right? We were taking those second balls, or as they call it, and then we were constantly trying to find either Mbumo, and then when Sheshko came in, etc. And some of those passes could have definitely been better, right? And let's also be honest, yesterday Liverpool were not very lucky, because especially Cody Gakpo, he had a great game. I mean, there were 3 shots on
Yeah,
target.
so let me address that, right? I want to put it into perspective because I feel like some people that disagree with me, like I've seen the comments on the Liverpool post game video as well. They're saying, oh, he didn't outclass Slot, and they could have easily won the game and all that. My point is that if we have to be level headed, right? Where we say, and I'm not saying this is you saying this, but the people who want to criticize Amorim, right? They criticize Amorim for the Arsenal game. They criticized him for the Fulham game, and they said, I don't care how much XG you're creating, we lost and drew those games, right? In this game for Liverpool, they're saying they got unlucky because they created chances, they had more XG, they hit the post, but they didn't end up winning, right? So they're saying they're unlucky for that. What about the 5 games in a row they started the league with, where they won every single game, whether they created
The
more
last
XG or
minute.
not? Yeah, and every single game was decided before yesterday's game. I believe every single game has been decided after the 83rd minute. So whether they win or they lose, it's been last minute. So even when they've been playing shit and they lost the game, they've been losing by small margins. So you want to say that you're being unlucky after you've been, winning the lottery for 7 games in a row?
You can't have it. You can't have the cake and eat it too,
Exactly.
right? Let's be
Exactly. You
honest.
can't have it both
So,
ways. So we can't really focus on Liverpool being unlucky because United ourselves have been in so many positions where we've been unlucky, but we haven't gotten the credit of being unlucky.
correct. Right. Um, what else? Andy, I don't want to be pessimistic. I'm just being optimistic, but cautiously optimistic, if you like.
Yep.
It's true. I think personally, I would err on the side of caution and say it's too early to say have we turned it around. I think consistency doesn't happen like this. It takes time to build a
Yeah,
world
yeah.
class team.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
oh, Andy, I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if you caught it on YouTube or elsewhere. The moment Maguire hits the rain, some of the assistant coaches, they're trying to, hug Ruben and all of that, but he's just so focused on sending Menu in, right? I think he was spot on with the substitution yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
Getting Casemiro out. Ahmad wasn't too happy. You noticed that, right? Getting Euro in. I think Delict and Bruno, they were all spot on. Even
Yeah.
the subs, they came in, they had an impact. The headers and all of that. So all in all, it was a good performance. However,
Yeah.
I'd say there's a long way to go. We must be focused on Brighton. We know what they're capable of. They beat us last season. And the silver lining, if you will, Andy, for me, is last season, ironically, we were losing more games at home and away
Yeah,
as well.
doing really well. We're doing really well at home now. That's really
That's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Touch wood, right?
Yeah.
That's a good sign. This is our first away win this season. We need to build on it. Yesterday, even Roy Keane was saying that. And look, it's so funny. I'm into finance and I do all of this. So I don't know if you heard this, even in the stock market, it's so funny, right? People come up with explanations and a narrative is being written, right? Oh, Trump is doing this and this happens
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
of that. Similarly with football, you win and you're just seeing. I like how practical and how pragmatic Ruben is. He said we're the same team that we were 90 minutes ago. It's just
Yeah.
that now you're seeing us in new light. So I like a guy. I like the fact that he's not jumping around and say, "Hey, I'm the guy who beat Liverpool at home."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no
For sure.
manager
Uday,
who beat them.
I'm gonna. We have a few people waiting. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Sure.
we'll give them a chance as well. But you made some fantastic points, and my biggest takeaway from what you said is you're cautiously optimistic. You're not getting ahead of yourself, and you're saying we
Stay
have to
in the
see a
moment.
few more. Yeah, we have to see a few more wins in a row. Maybe if United Strand can cut his hair, then we've turned it around, right? That's a
And
good
hopefully
marker
the
for it.
next time I'll have a different jersey on.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Awesome. Thanks, Uday. Thanks a
Cheers,
lot for
man.
your thoughts, man. Awesome. All right. So we have Lanre, we have Sherpa, Joel, and Rahul waiting in the banks. What I'm gonna do is bring in Sherpa first because he's a first-time caller. I'll give him his direct attention, and then I'll bring the rest of you guys in for a group conversation. So I appreciate your patience, Joel. I see you a little upset down there. Please don't be upset. Sherpa, how you doing?
Apologies to Joel. I guess let me start there.
Yeah.
No, thanks. I'm all the way from South Africa, so this is great. It's
Nice. Where in South
Manchester
Africa?
United in Johannesburg. So Manchester
Nice, very
United
nice.
diaspora as such, in many ways, and it shows the global reach of the club. I am a United supporter before Sir Alex Ferguson, before he was a Sir, for that matter. Before he
How
won the
how many years have you been supporting them?
since the early 80s, with the time of
Early 80s?
Robson and Norman Whiteside and
Nice.
Ron Atkinson was the coach, and we were
Nice,
upset when he
nice.
was removed, and so it's through the FA Cup, and so that's why I hate Liverpool so much.
By the way, we have somebody who watched his first ever United game in 1975, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, and he watched when he was 10 years old. His mom took him to watch George Best in Northern Ireland.
Oh, wow.
And so, not to take away from your limelight. You're also big respect to you, but I was just letting you know that it's crazy to me, because when he came on the channel as well, I was like, wow, like, he's been here before, like when we were still bad. He remembers us being relegated and watching from the second division. He said it was some of the best times. So I'm sure you have some great stories to tell as well.
Yeah. No, total respect. Now, the reason I raise it is that we keep on, it's to your point about the turning point. Now, with Sir Alex, with Fergie's team, and yes, we talk about the 5 years and that, but for me, the difference, because we've always had good players because we're a big club. So we attract better than average players. We attract talent. The difference is, we talk about confidence, but it's not actually confidence in yourself as a player, but a confidence in your fellow players.
Yeah,
you got to believe in your players, the system, the coach, etc. So when you're on the pitch, if you're going to hit that ball there, the guy's going to get it. He's going to be there. And
you're not second guessing yourself. You're not second guessing yourself either. Yeah.
You're not second guessing yourself. You're not second guessing your players. You're not thinking, and this is what happened to us over the past few years, I think, is that you had players completely committed, but committed as individuals. So they would like to take it on all on their own. Rashford did that at times. He would want to he would want to be the hero. Garnacho, at times Bruno, Anthony, whoever it is. And the difference with Amorim is trying to make now, and that's why this could be a turning point, but we'll have to see. Do the players believe in each other? And I'm from South Africa, and of course, we most probably have the best rugby team in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
And the reason that team is the best in the world is that you have one of the guys, Pieter-Steph du Toit, is most probably the best a rugby player of his generation as a forward. But he actually trusts the rest of the players. He will be standing out on the wing, allowing them to not trying to go and sort it out himself. Mm-hmm. And if Amorim is able to get this right, that the players not just believe in themselves, but believe in each other. Beckham believed in Cantona, and Cantona believed in Beckham. That's the difference. And I'm hopeful that would happen because then we can say the turning point has occurred. When you start to see the players not just enjoying each other and making TikTok videos or etc., but really truly believing each other on the pitch, and I'm hopeful that. The only other criticism I have, though, I really want Amorim to stop doing this because he's a confidence problem.
I just want to interrupt. Sorry, because you made a great point. I want to react to that first. Can you give us a name, by the way?
Oh, sorry, my name is Donovan. I forget. That's Donovan. Just a code. The Sherpa ZA. ZA is for South Africa. So the Sherpa is a guide. I write some articles and stuff, not sports ones.
Okay, great. Are you like a mountaineer or something? Is that?
No, not the Sherpa means a guide, as you know. It's like a shepherd, so who knows the terrain better. Yeah, I write opinion articles as a hobby, not as a.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, but Donovan, first of all, you bring up a great point, and I've talked about this before, right? When I kind of took a break from the channel, not sure how long you've been watching, but I got married last year, and then a bunch of other things happened, and we were shit for a long time, so it was hard for me to create content. But basically, I talked about in Ten Hag's second season, right? We actually played really well in the Champions League. We had Rasmus Højlund being the top scorer in the Champions League, if you remember, but we got knocked out of it because Onana kept chucking goals into the net. So what keeps happening is, if you think about like a snowball that's trying to develop, right? The snowball keeps getting bigger and bigger by adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that are playing well, right? So finally they get over their demons. They start having good games. They're putting in 7, 8, and 9 out of 10s every week. Then you have 1 or 2 players with like a large axe that's just chopping the snowball down, right? And so basically we don't have a consistent set of players that are performing well consistently, while other players are also not just horribly bad, right? So we keep having this thing even under Ten Hag, where Rashford had a great season, Casemiro had a great season, Bruno was playing well, but then some other players were not playing well. We finished third, and we didn't score a lot of goals, and we had a solid defense, but we weren't scoring goals, right? The season after that, we have some injuries, and all of a sudden, Johnny Evans is your best center back. Right, and Onana is just chucking goals in left and right, and the midfield is completely open. So you don't have. I made the analogy to like a chain, right, where you have multiple links, And if you keep having 1, 2, 3 weak links in the whole thing, it's never going to work. Whereas what you need is take away the individualism and make everybody play on the same level field so that the worst player is not too far away from the best player, right? And this was the problem we had in that season where Rashford was playing well. And I made a video actually that got more than 100,000 views saying why United will never win a title with Rashford. It's because we can never have our best player being Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford can be our 5th, 6th best player, and we could probably go win the title. And guess what's happening at Barcelona? He's like the 10th best player there, and he's playing well because he doesn't have any pressure on him, and all he has to do is come do his job when he's asked to. And he's not even the biggest story there, even though the English media want to keep interviewing him and bringing him up. He's not even the biggest story because he can't deal with that type of pressure. Bruno has shown as to be somebody who can deal with the pressure, but unfortunately, even Bruno needs to be like the 3rd best player in our team if we want to win a title, because he's a creator, right? So he needs the other 2 players. If he was playing with Haaland, by the way, how many assists would he have?
Yeah.
Right?
Mostly
Simple
double
question.
the number. Most probably double the number, or 25% at least more.
Oh no, it would be double because even Haaland, by the way, in the last game they played, who did they play? In Everton, I think they played Everton. He could have scored 5 goals in that game. I watched the highlights. He should have had 5 goals, but he missed his chances. So you're looking at a position where you're expecting Rasmus Højlund to play in a team where even when he does well in the Champions League and scores all these goals, and he's the top scorer in the Champions League in the group stage, we have someone like Onana who's just shitting all over that by throwing goals in his own net. And now Rasmus can't get his confidence going because he doesn't score in any other competition for the rest of the season. And poor guy has to go to Napoli, leaving his boyhood favorite club, right? So I totally agree with you. You made a smashing point. And sorry, that was a bit of a monologue reaction, but you made a great
No, that's perfect. I would just add to that. I think part of what has helped us to make certain that the weakest link is not, or the weak link on the pitch that day is not that bad. If you look at how we could carry Dallo, or at times carry Dogu, even as well, is that the profile that which we are trying to recruit is better for the balance of the team. So who we've been recruiting is pushing other players as well. Who's coming through, it gives an idea there's better balance. Simply put, there's better balance. And that recruitment helps that because we're going after the profile of players and not the names of players and other marketing or whatever else. And I think that adds a hell of a lot because it is about balance. Because you play different types of teams. You were making the point with the earlier call is that what happens when you're just going to be given the ball, and you can't do a counter pressure thing and so forth. I think Le Mans has been excellent for that to show you can go long. He's shown the proper balance. But anyway, I'm going to go off point if I continue, and I'm sure there's others.
That's fair. I think so. What I'll say to that is, and I think this is kind of part of the point that you're trying to make. The players we signed this summer, right? I think Mbeumo is one of the most humble players out there. You will never see him complain. Even I don't know this guy. I've never met him, but I know he's never going to have any negative things about him. I'm sure he's a God-loving man. There's not going to be any stories about him, drinking beers in Europe when we're out on international duty or something. And he does his job. He works tirelessly, and in that sense, he reminds me a little bit of Mo Salah, right? Muslim man, like family man, works very hard, never complains. Ahmad as well. And so we have all these humble players in the team. Even Šeško, Slovenian guy, he's coming from the Bundesliga. No complaints about not starting games. Nothing. You see Euro, no complaints about not getting game time. Who's the only person complaining? It's Kobbie Mainoo.
Yeah, it's Kobbie or the media. And also I want to say this on Kobbie. I am disappointed because he must ask, will he start in any of the top teams? In Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool for that matter, City, will he start? He won't start. So unless he wants to go to a mid-table team, then only he will start. And why is the next year's World Cup so important? There'll be other World Cups for Kobbie. You either wants a career.
You need to be good enough. Your career is important. It's not about going to the World Cup. Because listen, people are talking about Jack Grealish not being in the England squad and how it's a travesty. He's just going to go as part of the squad. He's not even going to play. because he's not going to be playing over. Like, if you look at the balance of the England team, you have Harry Kane as a striker. He needs 2 pacey wingers to play next to him, because you can't have Jack Grealish next to no. There's nobody going to be.
Kobe's not going to replace Anderson, and Kobe's not going to replace Anderson either.
Oh, their midfield is so packed. They're not playing Foden. They're not playing Bellingham. They're not playing Palmer right now. They have Elliot Anderson, Rice, and who else was playing in the 10? Somebody, but basically, isn't it? I don't know if he was like out of the team recently, wasn't he?
Okay, yeah, he was out of the team.
Yeah, but maybe I'm missing. But anyways, there's a lot of conversation around that. So my point is, Kobe Mainoo, we definitely love you. We want an academy player to do well at this club. That's what we're all about, right? Like, glory, glory, Man United. You've been seeing it since you've been following the team since the 80s, right? So these guys have all been in what's it called? We've always promoted youth, and we want him to do well, but he needs to figure it. He needs to start being humble. He needs to look at Mbumo. He needs to look at Euro. He needs to look at Šeško and all of these guys that have come in. In fact, I would even say Mateus Cunha, for being a Brazilian, he must be the humblest Brazilian out there, because by now other people might have had, things coming out about them. So I think, all of these guys have done a great job to stay humble, and we've had a lot of these guys, and I really appreciate that.
Let me just say the last
I'm going to do. No. So I'll do you one better. I'm going to keep you around, and I'm just going to add people to the stream, and we'll have a group discussion.
Okay, brilliant. So Thank you.
Let's add Lon Ray. Let's add Rahul as well. Joel, looking a little upset over there, and Raphael as well. I think we'll add Rishi. Let's go.
I think the name that you guys forgot was Wharton.
Adam Wharton? For what?
Yeah. Like
the midfield. The midfield. Yeah. The midfield. Yeah, good point. So guys, Donovan is an OG here. He's what some haters might want to call a top red over all of us, but I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't, because obviously very humble guy, and he shared some very good perspective here. I think what I want to hear from some of you guys as well is, do you think that, because a lot of people have thrown at Amorim that he hasn't improved any players yet, right? Like the haters, they want to come out and say, oh, tell me one player he's improved. I think the point that Donovan has made is very interesting, because I think he's improved the attitude of the whole squad, right? He has made it so that the whole squad now feels like more of a team. When was the last time we saw Bruno play a Hollywood pass?
Yeah.
Right? When was the last time Bruno played a Hollywood pass? And we haven't seen it because Amorim has basically said, we're not doing that anymore. In yesterday's game, he played all the passes safe. The one kind of quote unquote Hollywood pass, you could say, was the assist, right? The one that he played over the top. And that was like, Mbumo shot it, and the deflection came to him, and he, straight away put it towards the back post, and Maguire scored from that. So I think we need to look at it and say, it's not about improving individual players. It's about improving the whole team. And that's what Amorim is doing. There's a real squad mentality. There's a real trench mentality that I'm seeing here. Would love to hear from some of you guys. Let's start with Raphael, because I don't know if he's called in before. Hey, are you still there? I see another Raphael that's entered the stream. I don't know if it's an issue or something. But Joel, go on. Give us your thoughts.
On that point, I think you need to build the squad like slowly, because I was talking to my brother today, and he was talking about someone like, I don't know, like Lemons should have played already, or that the fact that you don't have a midfielder this season, like you still need a midfielder because you cannot play with Casemiro. And the fact that Luke Shaw is still playing, like that's still an issue. And I told him like bringing players, like it's you have to find like the right players, and also like you have to bring you have to do it slowly, because I'm sure that Liverpool, the fact that they brought so many players at once, it brings issues, because I'm sure they're not the same team as last year, and I'm sure that Salah is telling. I'm sure that he's like, why am I not getting the ball more, let's say? Or Ekitike, he's like, why am I not playing? Because I've been scoring and I'm not playing, Yeah. And so many players like Wirtz, that's a 100 million player, euro player. He sits on the bench, like he wants to play also. Like all of
Yeah.
them were like, so like bringing players doesn't always mean like, oh, like you're gonna play or the team is gonna improve or whatever. Like you have to build that slowly and
Joel, can I
find.
very quickly add on to what you're saying right now? I went back and checked the Feyenoord squad where Slot was managing. His last 2 seasons, each of them he had 10 plus players coming in the summer,
Yeah,
right? So that is a huge upheaval. So that means that, and one of those seasons, Slot actually won the Eredivisie. So that actually means that
yeah.
as a manager, he's capable of managing upheaval in the squad. But the problem that happens is when you're managing at the scale of Liverpool in the Premier League and you're buying
Upheaval under
players
pressure.
worth,
Upheaval under pressure
yeah,
is the key piece.
yeah, yeah. When
And
you're managing players that are worth more than 5 times your entire squad of Feyenoord, right? And individual player costs that much, there's going to be a lot of issues. There are ego issues. I'm pretty sure that when they signed Ekitike and before this fellow decided to go on strike, Alexander Isak decided to go on strike, he would have asked for some verbal guarantees at least that, tell me that you're going to play me every time I'm fit. Tell me you're going to play me over Ekitike. What is your plan for me? A man doesn't just go on strike and turn down a 300,000 contract at his existing club when there's another striker that's already competing for the spot. So he does have that experience, but I mean, this is a bigger game, right? The Premier League is like prime time. It's the biggest of all stages.
sure.
I think,
But
can I just step in real quick? I think there's a problem with Dutch managers. If we go from Ronald Koeman, Frank de Boer, Eric Ten Hag, Louis Van Gaal, they respect this. They respect the system way too much. Like whatever style they want to play. Ten Hag had that issue with Ronaldo, if you guys remember. They don't like individual personalities a lot. I think Van Gaal did a bit of that too when he came to United. Kind of took the joy and the free flowing football. I mean, we all watched Van Gaal, and everybody was complaining about how Van Gaal's football was way too
Landry,
systematic.
I will slightly disagree with you on that because you could say that Ten Hag promoted individual personalities too much because he relied on Rashford, he relied on Bruno, he relied on Garnacho, Anthony, right? I think the point that you made initially, though, which is that Eredivisie managers or Dutch managers in general seem to have a problem doing super well over an extended period in the Premier League. And Slot is the exception to the mean, even the fact that he won the league last year, right? And I feel like you could argue that him being pragmatic and taking over a Klopp squad where Van Dijk and Twerkes and Salah were still in their prime, Alisson still in their prime, Robertson played the whole season. Those things really helped him out, and Trent was obviously still there. Whereas now his problem is that he's stuck between a rock and a hard place where he's purchased 500 million worth of players, right? He has to play almost every single one of them. Even yesterday, did they improve after getting Wirtz and Ekitike on the pitch? Like Ekitike had some shots, but Gakpo was already doing that from the left side, right? So did they actually improve when those players came on? I don't think so. So he's kind of under pressure where they gave Salah a new contract, and now he has to play him on the right wing. He doesn't do the defensive work. He's playing Gakpo on the left because he's like, this is my best attacker. He's the only one giving me the attacking shots. So I'm not going to ask him to track back. So you have a situation where Kirkes and Twerkes are given the defensive workload of 3 players, right? And the same thing on the right-hand side. And so essentially, I think the problem with Dutch managers in general is that they are too stubborn. I wouldn't say they're stubborn because they like individual talent or not, but whatever their philosophy is, they're very stubborn with it, and it's causing them issues.
Except Frank de Boer wasn't even good enough for 1 minute, not over an extended period. And also to say, what I got shocked with is how mediocre and average Liverpool looked. I haven't watched them that much this season, just reading about them, but they have some serious problems. Gakpo was their best player, but he seemed to flit in and out of the game. Salah is Salah, he's enigmatic. But on the overall, and I thought we had problems, but when I watched Liverpool, I realized they have some serious problems. They're completely individualistic. There is no team chemistry there. And just on the whole, tactically, they're doing what they want to do, not necessarily, and then playing up to the manager. So even when they got to 1-1 or whatever, it was because we lost that ball in the midfield over a ricochet ball, and that's what opened us up a bit. But on the overall, Liverpool, Slot has some serious problems with his squad. I think
Donovan,
he's
I'll do
unbalanced.
you one better. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'll do you one
No,
better. Of
it's
all the superstars that he signed, can you actually say that any one of them is a leader in the true sense? Look at
no,
what
none.
Ekitike did. Ekitike, after scoring in the Community Shield against a championship club,
In
he
the
takes his
EFL Cup,
shirt off.
EFL Cup.
Yeah, in the League Cup, he basically takes his jersey off and shows it to the fans,
He gets sent
like
off.
trying to say that, yeah, he gets sent off. Like, such a stupid thing to do, right? And then they lose the next game. They
Yeah.
lose the next game against Palace. So
Yeah.
he's not a leader, right? Isak doesn't show any signs of leadership. I don't think he was a leader in the Newcastle squad. That's more like Bruno Guimaraes and Trippier and all those guys, right? Wirtz doesn't look like he was a leader because he can't even stake a claim for a place, right? Kerkez is a very young kid. Frimpong also doesn't give off the vibe of a leader, right? So he's not signed any leaders. Whereas we've
By the way,
signed
I like
Cunha, man.
I
Sorry?
liked Kirkez, but the only player I liked, not as a leader, but the only player I liked in that team was Kirkez, the one they
No,
were
hold
giving
on.
the most
They have a
hustle to.
lot of players to like, right, Donovan? They have a
Yeah.
lot of players to like. Frimpong
Yeah.
would have been
Frimpong
amazing
is
as a
really
right
good.
wing back in
Yeah.
our system. Had we signed Frimpong, dude, we would be killing it, right?
Yeah.
But they signed a lot of great players, and let's not take it away from them. Just because Wirtz has looked shit for 11 games doesn't mean he wasn't the most promising midfielder out of Germany in the last 10 years, right? Like even more promising than Götze and all those guys when they were coming through. So you have to give credit for those players before they join. But now I want to sit here and listen to one person come up to me and say, oh, maybe Liverpool are the problem because all these good players go there and they play shit, right? Because they're happy to say that about United when we sign players and they play shit. And I wonder if Wirtz goes out on loan back to Leverkusen or Munich, how well he will do next season if this one doesn't go well for him.
The agents won't say that because they get very good commissions from Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
But I think the manager is the problem. I think Slot is the problem because especially when there are so many new players in the team, right? If it was Klopp, he was kind of like a fatherly figure. Okay, he was perfect to groom these young kids and develop them. But I don't think Slot is that kind of a manager, and there is something about the vibe which a manager gives out. Like so this Klopp was more like a fatherly figure. He's very caring about all his players, and I don't think Slot gives out that vibe. He just I feel like if I'm in a dressing room with Slot telling me something as a player, I wouldn't think that it would motivate me enough to say I am losing 1-0 in the first half and be motivated enough to get the win in the second half, especially if leader player like Van Dijk is just blaming his younger players and not acting as a leader as how he's supposed to. That's when you need a manager who's like
Rahul, I'll say
yeah.
I'll say this, Rahul. I don't think a fatherly figure would ever put Kerkez next to a twerking center back because that doesn't seem like you're setting a good example for the young kids, right? He's just 21, man. Like, give it a break. But anyways,
one question: was it meme which you shared yesterday? Was that Van Dijk and Kerkez, or was it Van Dijk and Mbumo?
Van Dijk and Mbumo, but I if it was it wouldn't be butt to butt if it was Van Dijk and McAllister, right? Because that was elbow to head, and he made an Argentinian midfielder who's one of the best in the world into Petr Cech in midfield. So let's just call that out for what it is. But yeah, he didn't have to do him like that. The dude's got a family, he's got kids. Like you don't need
Synchronized swimmer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Water polo player.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up something. Sorry for taking us away from the conversation a bit, but I wasn't able to catch the game live. I did watch the full match afterwards. But what did you guys feel of Ugarte's cameo? Because I feel like Ugarte is a very aggressive ball winner, and you always need that sometimes. But does he destabilize the team a bit? Is it only me? Does it feel that way? with you guys.
So Ugarte, my quick opinion on him is I think he's also searching for that confidence a little bit, right? Because he's come to the Premier League. He went from Sporting to PSG. He was touted as one of the best midfielders. Let's not forget, we were kind of, a lot of United fans were saying we should have gotten him when he went to PSG, right, from Sporting, because we always need midfielders, guys. That's biggest problem here. But I think he's come in. I think Ten Hag did him a little dirty by never giving him a chance, basically, right? He was very reliant on Casemiro and Eriksen. And then, Amorim, who's a coach that's worked with him at Sporting before, also didn't really pick him all the time because he was going with Casemiro and Bruno, again, for obvious reasons. They're much more experienced. So I think he's just searching for that little bit of confidence. I will say this, he did have a really good game against City outside of that one defensive mistake for the third goal. And he did do really well before we ended up, we started to concede in that game. So for the first 40, 50 minutes, he was basically flawless. So I think he's searching for that confidence, and I feel like he will get there if the team starts doing well. Going back to Donovan's first point that he made, which is once you can start relying on the other players around you, you start playing better because you're not trying to do the job of two players at once.
Yeah, can I add something? I feel like Ugarte, he is like a player that will work and run and tackle and whatever, but I think he's a little bit limited in what you can ask for him to do. I think he can pass the ball to the player who are next to him, but don't ask him to play a long ball to the winger or whatever. He's a little bit limited. So I understand why he plays Casemiro, because if you see Casemiro, he can play those switch balls, maybe not as consistent as he should be, or he's not as press resistant. But I think Ugarte, he's even a little bit worse even on the ball.
I just want to make a statement, Joel, to what you just said and have somebody else react to it. Do you think he's limited by his technicality or by his brain? Because I think he can play those passes. I think he's just kind of confused at times where he doesn't really know what to do at what time, right? So anyone else want to take that?
I would say,
think, you go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I would say that I agree with you. I would just like to think that maybe it's also slightly confidence, because it's maybe he does it in training and he's scared to do it on the pitch. That kind of story, or you must be pushed to do it in training and then have the confidence to do it on the pitch. You can have a bowler who can bowl slow balls in the nets, but in a game situation he may be scared to try it. The ball gets sticky, it sticks to the hand. So for me with Ugarte, yes, he's very limited with passes. That's what we see. But I always like to think that, look how many medals John O'Shea got, and he's way more limited. United have always had these players that you don't need superstars. You don't need the best completely in every position, especially there. You need that workhorse. So it's a matter of him just trusting himself a little bit more and allowing mistakes. You have to allow for mistakes.
But also, again, back to Donovan's first point, is Ugarte is not allowed to make mistakes right now because all the other players around him are already making their own mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And the midfield is already such a big problem that there's no time for him to bed in. In fact, that's a great parallel with Liverpool as well, because they're so open and they're playing such a open system that Kirkez is not allowed any time to bet into the team, right? Because he thought he was joining the champions and he's going to have an easy time where everybody else can have a good game, I'll have a bad game and I'll still be okay. But everybody else is having a bad game and he's getting singled out.
And I also think it also
he got pranked by the Liverpool squad.
I also think it doesn't help that he's playing in the midfield too. I think a lot of your flaws are covered if you're playing in the midfield three. So maybe we are looking a bit harshly on him. But going forward to Brighton, where do we go? What do you guys want to see against Brighton with this team? What do you guys want to see that would be really encouraging for you? I know you slightly talked about it, but almost how can we not lose against Brighton? Because I hate losing against Brighton. I hate it so much. I'm tired of it, guys.
Almost as much as I hate losing against Brentford, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, me too.
So
maybe you should say what you want to see, Landry,
yeah, exactly.
and then
Yeah.
we react to
What
it.
I want to see against Brighton, first of all, Lamon's in goal. I know it's now a given, but I think the confidence he gives to the back line is way, way, way different than what we'd have with Binder or Nana. So I think Lamon's in goal is easily a -1 goal every game you're conceding. Literally, you're
Yeah, he has a
conceding one less
100%
goal.
record so far. He has a
Yeah.
100% record so far.
-1. And then I would love
Wait,
to
wait,
see
wait, wait.
us-
1 second, Landre. What percentage of our wins under Amorim have come with Lomans in goal? Somebody do the math. It's got to be a crazy high percentage, right? It's got to be like 10%,
That is
20%.
crazy. It will be crazy high, yeah.
Anyways, go for it.
But I would also love to see Shesko, Cunha, and Umbomo getting using Brighton to build that front three connection that any good team must always have, right? If we can get the three of them firing, especially in the early seconds of the game, get the ball to them in the right positions, get them connecting. I still have that problem with Cunha where I want him to pass a bit more because at the end of the day, he's at a bigger team. This isn't Wolves. He doesn't have to do everything anymore. He has quality around him. He can pass now. So I want him to understand that if I see he gets into some great positions, just put a ball in, find Chesko, find Mbumo, even find Ahmad, right? And I possibly want to see if Martinez is able to come back. I want to see Martinez center back and Shaw left back. Actually, I want to try out Shaw in that left back because that left back is still a problem area for me, in my
He
opinion.
can.
I
wanna
don't think
fix it.
Shaw has the engine to play wing back.
Yeah, he
Anymore.
cannot do that anymore. No, he's done.
He's almost 30 now.
I'll give
Injury
you guys
prone.
a slight rebuttal, right? Because we did discuss, Rishi, that Brighton's a team that plays with 30% possession. So we're going to be more in a set possession type of situation, right? Where we play against a lower mid block. In that case, he doesn't really need to do as much running. So in this type of game, we could really use his early cross because I think we all agree he's probably the best crosser on the left-hand side that we
Andy,
have.
my counter to that would be that Brighton are dangerous on transitions, and we need a wing back who can speed and track back. So I would rather have Dorgu playing because he's quick. He's
I don't
physical.
disagree with you, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's not the worst shout in the world to say that, and I'm sure if because Martinez is he's not the fastest in the world, but he definitely can cover ground. So we do have somebody there, and especially if we play Euro on the right hand side and Delict in the middle, then our
I was
backline
gonna say
itself
that.
is fast enough. Yeah.
Or maybe Euro left hand side because Euro has that in him to recover, just so we can have that attacking threat of Shaw. Because I mean, Dorgu very athletic, gets in great positions, final ball, Dorgu. No offense, that's always my problem with Dorgu.
For me, I think I slightly agree a little bit more with Andy and Rishi on the basis that we're going to have a lot more possession. So our two-person midfield does not need to be as helped as much. So the wing backs become very, very important for our attack. And the wing backs together with a striker, a real striker, not a false nine. So I would look to Sesko for that. So you either going to have Lamans, being used to spray long passes. But you're also going to have to wait for them. You're going to keep the ball and wait for them to come on us. So then to either pass it out or go long in that way. Because otherwise, and you can't do that with a Shaw. You can't do that. You're not going to get him running and running like that.
But by the way, Donovan, the fan that's been watching since 1975, that's Marcus Stevenson. The comment that I'm just highlighting here, he's the one that saw George Best when he was like, I don't know, in the womb probably. Like seems like a long time ago. But honestly, Marcus, brilliant. Thank you so much for the comment. But yeah, in general, guys, I think if you ask me about the Brighton game, right, and what I want to see, because that's what Landry said. I want to see us have the most difficult set of problems thrown at us, and I want to see a win, right? And what I mean by that is them setting up in a low block or mid block. Rishi and I discussed this earlier in the show as well. So they have 35% possession. I want to see us go a goal down early at Old Trafford and then come back to win maybe 3 or 4-1. Because I'll tell you why, right? No, that's fair. But you asked me, so I'm giving you my opinion. But I think so. The reason I say that is because we actually have a really good record when we score in the first half at Old Trafford. I think even through all this garbage that we've been going through in the last few seasons, we have a really good record at Old Trafford when we score first. So I want to see us concede first, and I want to see us, have let's say a bit of a shaky time in the game, and them executing that low block team, because we haven't really seen Amorim break that down, right? We haven't seen the players execute perfectly, because it's been a lot of sloppy passing just behind Mbumo, and then Mbumo gets it and he's kind of off balance, passes it off to Ahmad, and we're not executing perfectly. So if I can see us executing well, I can see us taking a big win against a big team, then going into a difficult time against a smaller team and also coming through that, right? And then I want to hear Jamie Carragher say we just got lucky to win that game. Because
I just want to add one more thing to what you were saying. I want to see us get a penalty and Amorim not hide and look down. Now, that was my second point, because I think if the players are lacking confidence or whatever, the manager cannot look like that. He must grow a pair. Like, quite honestly, if my only criticism of Amorim is that if that's the case, if he's want to sit on the bench and hide, then he must never ever come out and stand out in the technical area. And it must be consistent.
But Donovan, the signs are promising, because he's already doing things which he wasn't doing earlier. Like yesterday, taking Bruno off, that was a big call. I don't think he's ever taken Bruno off.
Yeah.
Right, it was a huge call, and I was happy that he took him off, because I don't think any manager ever takes Bruno off. Right.
Yeah.
So that was a big call.
Also taking Ahmad off, by the way, in the 59th minute. I know Casemiro was injured. But Ahmad was having a great game, and he was giving you the defensive cover while providing the attacking threat. But he saw him on a yellow. He said, "I don't want a red card. Let's take him off."
Yeah, so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that would happen, because we need our manager to front up as well. The whole team needs to front up, and he must be doing it as well. So, but Brighton is a clever team. They've always been a clever team, and United have always had bogey teams. Years ago, it would be Aston Villa at times and so forth. So yeah, I don't know about going one down first and then trying to get back to three. I would like to go the one up and maybe the equalizer.
No, I would prefer that too. But you're saying, like, my point was from the angle of, like, if the most complete performance we can see, covering every single doubt we have about Amorim, would be us seeing going 1-0 down first, having some pressure on us to actually go win the game and penetrate a team that's just like, we're shut up shop for today, bank holiday, we're going home or whatever.
And he's basically saying, like, throw the worst things that can happen at United. And it's basically that video of Elon Musk taking a hammer to the Cybertruck. But I want to remind Andy what happened in that video. The window cracked, brother. I hope it doesn't happen to United.
Hold on.
I think it's too early for that test, Andy.
Hold on, Rahul. If you want to keep that metaphor, Rishi, or that analogy, sorry. The first time they did it, the window cracked, but they did it a few more times after that, and it didn't. So I think the window cracks already happened for Amorim, his entire tenure. Hopefully, this is the time that the window doesn't crack.
But not also to shut up Jamie Carragher, but to also get ESPN guys to keep quiet. The ESPN guys who can never say anything good about United. I don't know if you watch any of them, but they are ridiculously terrible and with the bias. So anyway, I'll be quiet now.
Rahul, what were you saying?
Yep, sorry. So I was saying that the trauma is. Sorry, my direct comment. Yeah. I was just saying that whatever you're saying, right? We cannot let that test happen now. Like, it's too early. Let's just go with a solid defense and solidify our midfield and attack. And sometime later, maybe 3-4 games after having a consistent win streak, or maybe 2 draws, 2 wins, like that, then we can have this shit test, if we can call that. Then at that point, I think we would be, see how United is performing when we are going 1-0 down, if the whole team is going down, and who's having the leadership traits to, bring the team up.
I'm not saying they should just let Brighton start from 1-0 up, right? That's not what I'm saying either. Obviously, I would love to see like a 4-0 victory, 5-0 victory, whatever. Like Arsenal got the game against Leeds where they won 5-0, right? And Max Dowman, dove inside the box, and they were all celebrating him like the second coming of Christ. I'm just saying, I think it would be good to see us go through some tests, whether that's in the next game or the game after that. I mean, God knows we're going to have tough games again. And, people are going to call for Amorim to get the sack again. But guys, we've already been live for an hour, 40 minutes. I want to get your predictions right now. No asterisks. I want to hear from you guys. Where are we ending at the end of the season? And if you guys are wrong, you guys all owe me $5. I'm just joking. But
we're winning the league.
Tell me,
we're winning the league.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm
just,
saying. I wish
if
you
you
could see
just
my
want
face
to
right
give
now.
me
I'm
a
saying
super
this with a
chat, you can
straight
just do
face.
that right now, bro.
I'm saying this with a straight face. We are winning the league. Trust me, boys.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
We have to take your word for it because you're off camera, brother.
Yeah, you need to put that on camera. You got to clip that up.
Yeah.
I think he didn't mention the year. I think he just mentioned we are winning the league. Maybe it's in 2030.
Yeah. Project 2099, right?
Yeah.
No, so Donovan, give us your prediction.
I would say a top sixth place. We will make the Europa. That's what we will qualify for Europa. That's what I. Of course, I'll take anything better than that, but that's what I would like. Yeah.
Nice. And Rahul?
I mean, it's too tough to call it out, but I'll just say 8.
8. Okay.
That's a good call.
Fair enough. Landry? Hello?
Landry said we
He already said, right? We're winning the league. They'll be first. He'll be first.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. He already said it. Oh, sorry. Never mind. Man of a
Joel,
few
go
words.
for
I
it.
appreciate it.
Sorry?
Give
I
us your
said,
prediction.
Joel, have you given us your
okay.
prediction?
Yeah, I'm gonna be giddy, and I will say 5th, but then I'm still kind of giddy so far.
Jeez,
yeah,
what's your pessimistic prediction? Like 15?
No. I would say 4 or 5th, but then yeah.
If I ask Landry one more time, he's gonna say we're gonna win the Champions League as well.
This season.
Yeah, this season exactly.
Well, Liverpool has already got the quadruple, hey?
Yeah, exactly. They're going for
they've got the quadruple.
Rishi, give us your prediction.
I think it all depends upon how we solve for AFCON. I doubt we are buying any new players because they want someone who's like a long-term target. They don't want to go for a quick fix. It might be a loan deal or something. There's talk of Shea Lacey being groomed to take Ahmad or Mbumo's spots in the wings or in the 10. So I'm actually quite optimistic. I think we could. Well, the thumbnail said, "Will we get top 4?" And funnily enough, we did like a preview for the Brighton game, but we didn't discuss whether we'll get top 4. I think I can make a case for top 4. I think there's a good chance we finish 4th because if you look at the way things stand, Arsenal and City are the only 2 teams I can clearly say are in the top 2. Right, whether it's Arsenal comfortably winning or City fighting them all the way.
Well,
but these are the 2 teams that are going to be in the top 2. And
Rishi, you took my talking points out of my mouth, so I'm gonna hand it over to Raphael, who's I've seen you comment so much on the channel. I really appreciate it. I know you've been trying to kind of get into the stream as well with some issues, but you're finally here. And unfortunately, we're closing this out, but I still want to get your thoughts. What is your prediction for this season?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I think we'll get 5th at best because I think Tottenham are playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and I think, but I'd still be happy with 7th at the moment.
Okay.
Because I think there are a lot of issues still. It depends whether we buy players, as other people mentioned, in January. Depends also on AFCON, as people have said as well. But I think the one thing I wanted to say is that, which you said, Andy, is really that Amorim is building the mentality, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
If we have the mentality right, even the younger players, Lacey or whoever comes in, will fit in really well and will improve. If we have a bad mentality, the younger players are going to sink.
Yeah. Yeah, great points, Rafael. By the way, where are you calling from? Where are you calling from? I don't know if can you guys hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll just give my closing thoughts on it. I actually think we'll surprise a lot of people and finish in 4th. And the reason I say that is because it's a very early shout. Listen, I'm not sending $5 to anybody, so don't at me when that happens. Yes, we can still hear you, Rafael. But my point is, I think we're looking better than Liverpool right now. We've looked better than Liverpool, throughout the 8 games, but nobody wanted to believe me. Nobody wanted to look at the expected points table, right? And I feel like Chelsea are the one team that have good competition with us. I think Crystal Palace have a better chance of being above us than Liverpool does. So it's hard to see Liverpool finishing outside the top 6, but I actually think it's possible that we could finish. Let's just say it's more likely that we finish in the top 4 than I think than Liverpool, and that's crazy hot take, but I'm seeing that coming. And again, AFCON could be a big problem, so that could push us down a few positions. So 4 to 6 is kind of my prediction right now. But you guys all smashed it, man. You guys are legends for joining, and Donovan especially. Nice to see an OG United fan that's going through the highs and the lows. I feel like you should be. I feel like you look at us and feel a little sorry for us, because I really started watching United in like 2014, right? Because I know I was what, 20 years old at that time, and before that I used to watch the highlights. I remember watching the Champions League game that we won, obviously, in 2008. I think I watched the highlights of it. I don't know if I watched it live. So I haven't seen the good days that you have. I think the highlight for me is what, a Europa League win, or I think the biggest highlight for me that I can think of, or the euphoria moment that stands out, is that 3-2 win that we got at Man City when we came back.
With Pogba and them. Yeah.
I was just reminded of that game by Rafael because he had that blue hair that Pogba had. I was just thinking of that game.
Yeah. Anyways, Rafael, you're back. But I think for me,
Rafael is laughing at his own blue hair.
Yeah. Where are you calling in from, Rafael? We didn't catch it earlier.
I'm in Thailand.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's awesome.
Thailand has a huge United fan following. Huge, massive.
Yeah. It's nice to be compared to Pogba.
Yeah, that's some.
You got that voodoo look, Rafael.
Not by Graham Souness. Not by Graham Souness.
Also, the comparing you to Paul Pogba, not his brother that buried something under the Old Trafford pitch. Let's get that clear. But guys, awesome stream. I'm gonna have to let you guys go because
thank you so much.
Need some more sleep. But you guys absolutely smashed it. This is more for me than for the revenue or anything else. I get to learn so much from you guys by watching and listening to you guys. So thank you so much, and glory, Man United. May the good days last for a long time.
Hey, in case you guys didn't know, just wanted to quickly let you all know the Liverpool post-match video, right? The song in the beginning, that's an original Andy composition. He wrote it himself.
Oh yeah, the Ruben's at the wheel. I wrote the song myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Well, let's make it more popular.
I didn't know
right?
Canadians had rhythm. I didn't know Canadians had rhythm.
Well, okay. I was born in India, so I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
Ice. Okay, cool.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, man. Like I said, I will see you guys next time, and please keep joining the stream. This means a lot to me. You guys are all legends. Peace.